Hey, this is James from PNW Outdoor Reviews. So, you see a lot of stuff on this table, and this is all stuff I do keep in my vehicle. I really do like to be prepared, and driving on the roads, you never know what you're going to come across. Some days, nothing, but some days you get a flat tire or something breaks. You never know. Cars can be the biggest headache. So I really just wanted to go through a handful of these items here and kind of just express kind of how I feel about them and why I do keep them in my vehicle. Starting with just some of the basics. And so really I'll just get started here. I like to have gloves. Simple gloves in the car, honestly. Especially if you have to change your tire. This kind of protects your hands, especially because your tire can pick up a lot of junk off the road and you have to touch your tire. You don't want to cut up your fingers. That's the last thing you want. So cheap, basic item, a pair of gloves makes a big difference. Another thing I like to keep, especially because I do like to go shooting and, off, in the outdoors, wet wipes come in handy more often than you think. And maybe even more. I know I have a kid on the way, so honestly, I think these are going to be a lifesaver. But just keeping, I say again, it's a simple thing as a wet wipe, just to clean your hands. That's just a nice little thing to keep. Doesn't take up much room. So when it comes to things like jump starting a vehicle, that's another nasty headache that probably all of us have suffered through at least once, a dead battery. There's a lot of choices out there for how you can get your car up and running. I think we're all familiar with jumper cables. That's going to be a basic, but what if nobody's around? If you're in that empty parking lot and you need to get going? So there's a couple other choices, and then you can go. Obviously there's going to be jump boxes. Now this one's really nice because this is just a compact little jump box, basically USB style. That's pretty neat, but it all comes in one nice little container. I said, it just clips onto your battery and you can get it going. If you got a big diesel truck, probably not going to be the best thing. This thing is not going to put out enough power to get that thing started. Now, to help with that, you can go with a more traditional style jump box. Now, this is a lot bigger. This is going to take up a lot more space, weighs a lot more, but this thing's going to put out a lot more power and definitely can hold a charge a lot longer too, compared to the smaller units. So these are a nice feature. But another nice feature, though, especially with the more compact model, is this: you can charge your cell phones off of this. So again, if you did happen to be stranded somewhere, not only with this unit you can jump your vehicle, but if you're going to be somewhere a long time potentially because something worse happened, you can at least keep your cell phone charged, so you can always stay in contact with someone. So that's another big safety feature there too. So that's a nice. So something like a knife, honestly, that's another nice item to have. Again, you may never need it, but if you ever need to cut something, or geez, I know they make a lot of tools out there to help cut your seatbelt. If you're good with a knife, I think a knife is going to go through a seatbelt a lot faster than some of these tools that they make. But again, it can come in handy because it's not so much about an emergency situation, but I think a lot of us are with our cars so much more than ever before, and especially if you're out, whether you're camping with your vehicle or just at the park. These little tools can come in handy just to make your life easy, not so much to protect yourself or anything like that. It's just nice to have. So another important item I really like: flashlights. A flashlight in your vehicle. They say if you have to work in the dark, driving home at night, something happens, you want to have something. Now, I really like the Streamlight, little Stylus Pro, little pen light. It's compact, small, puts out a lot of light. I wish I could show you, but a little bright out right now. But again, it just doesn't take up much room, but the output is incredible on this little light. So, but again, if you need even more, a full-size flashlight, if you got the room, is another great option. Since we're talking about being out at night, flares are really, really nice to have because, I mean, honestly, what's brighter than a flare burning out in the middle of the road? You know, people passing by are going to notice that and hopefully avoid hitting you, because that seems to be a big issue, is people on the side of the road getting hit. And, you know, if you do have to pull over, you know, whether during the day or at night, I mean, a flare can be a great tool, you know, a great safety item. Now, being out in the eastern Washington, we definitely got a little bit of a fire ban going, so, you know, a flare may not be the best idea because you don't also want to be the person responsible for starting a fire. So something like the triangles, reflective triangles, day and night, you know, reflect and really can, you know, get another person's attention, you know, and avoid from getting hit. So that's a great tool also to have. So one thing you can look for to make this a little easier, because obviously this is a lot of just loose stuff. I know I bought this from Costco. They make this little bag, and that holds your jumper cables. It actually came with this triangle, but it also came with a baggie that's full of, you know, more items you really should be keeping, because this one's even got a headlamp. It's got a razor blade, it's got your air gauge, it's got duct tape, it's got just a basic first aid kit in here. Again, all items you really should have in your car at all times, because, you know, why not be prepared, you know? So this, again, is going to just, it's a nice, easy method, so you don't have to just go buy each little individual item. You can find these at probably any automotive store. Like I said, I found mine at Costco, but, I mean, again, any automotive shop will sell these little safety kits. And again, they just have the good basics. So this is a good starting point for anyone that's looking just to get stuff in their car. Fire extinguishers is, again, I think another must, because, like I said, if something does go wrong with your vehicle and you notice a little smoke starting to develop, I mean, you can potentially save your entire vehicle from being burnt to the ground. Because, I mean, let's face it, if you're out in the middle of nowhere, first responders may take quite a while to get to you, and by then it may be too late for your car. And, you know, you don't want to lose your shelter when you're out in the middle of nowhere. So at least with this, if something does go wrong and overheats and potentially catches on fire, you may be able to stop it in time, as long as it's safe. You know, you don't want to, obviously, if you already see flames, you know, may not be worth the risk. So, but at least this gives you maybe a chance to avoid a potential large fire. Rope is another great item to have, you know, especially for pickup owners. You know, it's nice if you can tie stuff down, but, you know, car or truck, it's another item that can really come in handy. It could be for a number of reasons. Like I said, you know, maybe you bought something and it doesn't fit inside your car and you need to strap it to the roof. Well, at least you have this. I choose to have paracord, just because it's very compact. It's got a 500-pound braking force, so I mean, it's super heavy duty. But again, you know, rope also, just standard old rope is great. I know some, you know, if you have a truck, most guys have ratcheting straps, which works well, but, you know, rope can be used for so many different items. As I've talked about in my very first video, first aid kit, you know, like I said, this IFAC from Honor Tactical, I fell in love with, just because it organizes all of my med supplies so well. This is something, if we were to choose, this would be the first item I would choose, because, again, if something happens, you at least want to have the chance to avoid, you know, a more serious problem from, you know, becoming, well, potentially deadly. You know, if you get a bad cut, or, like I said, I know sometimes I work for the automotive industry, and I've seen a lot of people changing their spare tires out, and they've done some nasty damage to their hands. That's why, again, I recommend gloves. But again, a first aid kit in your vehicle, whether it's for you personally or maybe you come across someone that needs help, I mean, that's I don't know, can't put a price on that, and that's just too good. So that's the very first thing you should always have in your vehicle. Other items, water. it's always good to have spare water. You know, just have some disposable style water bottles. You know, you can just change them out every 6 months, or you know, whatever you feel comfortable with. But you know, you want to have spare water. You know, like I said, you don't know where you're going to be. You know, you may break down if it does happen. Granola bar, you know, something that has a very long shelf life, is, like I said, a good item just to keep somewhere tucked away in your glove compartment or wherever. Like I said, you know, if you're stranded waiting for a tow truck or something for 4 or 5 hours, you know, you definitely don't want to be starving to death. Now, a few little extras, you know, like a compass, nice little item to have, like I said, especially if you're in the back country, you know, and maybe your cell phone failed and, you know, you really need to get back, you know, going back to the basics, you know, that's huge. You know, so having a compass is going to be a plus. I like keeping zip ties, you know, especially again when you're off-roading and maybe something comes loose or you hit something, you need to get your fender or whatever, you know, kind of held down tight. Zip ties really do come in handy, especially if you need to do kind of on-the-go repairs. Same with duct tape. I think everyone keeps duct tape nowadays just because it is that all-in-one. Should always have a pen in case you need to exchange insurance or anything else. You don't want to be that one person that can't take notes. So always keep a pen with you. Now, some extras that I keep that, again, not everyone needs, but I keep my air compressor. This one happened to be from Lowe's. I like it just because it's so simple to use, and you can actually set it to the air pressure you want and just walk away, and it'll automatically turn off when it reaches that desired air pressure. So, but again, this can come in handy. And to go with that, I always carry a plug kit because, let's face it, you know, especially in a car with a temporary donut spare, and you're, you know, 50 miles away from the nearest actual town, no one wants to drive on their spare. So this is an all-in-one plug kit. Now, they make much smaller ones. This is a bit to the extreme, but like I said, I work for the automotive industry, so, you know, I kind of want to go for the best. But, you know, plug kits, again, can allow you, you know, as long as you didn't blow the tire out, you know, to repair a basic nail or screw in the tire, air it back up, and you're good to go. You can drive on it just like normal. And, you know, when you do finally get to a tire repair center, you can have it properly repaired with a real patch and all that, for, again, a permanent repair, because plug repairs are temporary. They dry out and they will allow the air to escape again. But, I mean, we're talking months over time. But again, if you're up in the mountains or far away from town, a plug kit and compressor combination is a must-have. I really believe that to be true. So, again, not everyone's going to need every single one of these items, but for those people that are, again, traveling up in the mountains or going on really long road trips, these are all items that can really prevent some bad headaches or even potentially ruin an entire trip. It's best just to be prepared, you know, and that's something I'm always going to preach about on this channel is, you know, you never want to be the person that says, I wasn't prepared. Don't be that person. It doesn't take much. Just think about all the basic things. And I'm hoping this video really kind of helped. Just point out a few basics. You know, I mean, you'll find things that'll fit. And again, maybe not everyone has room in their vehicle. I've gotten pretty creative, finding all the little nooks and crannies in my vehicle to get everything to fit. But again, you know, it's about just getting the basics, so that way, if something does happen, you're ready. I really appreciate you guys watching this video. I appreciate everyone watching my videos and subscribing. I love doing this. This is a lot of fun. If you guys got any suggestions or topics, or, you know, maybe something I missed, please let me know. Like I said, I'm perfecting this as I go along. So thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll have another video for you next Sunday.